Welcome back. How did you go with your switches? What I'd like to do is suggest a common switch now for ASB audit. If anyone is feeling a little bit stressed or a little bit frustrated, you can just go healthy thinking. You've got to be careful when you use it, but that healthy thinking in itself, those words are a cognitive switch. Other ones I tend to use, it's not what happens to you, but your attitude towards it that counts. When the real heat of the moment, keep cool and tweak. Crisis equals opportunity. If you're looking reflectively about what's happened, will this worry me in 5 years? Everything happens for a reason. There is a solution to every problem. The problem is we have linear thinking, and we tend to get trapped and think we must go down this path, and we get this linear way of thinking, which is stressful. But if we creative thinking, free flow thinking, there's so many examples and there's so many opportunities. Do you know we have 7 thoughts for every trigger, roughly, per day? If we get 10 triggers in a day, how many choices do we have the way our life would go? Well, should be good at maths and accounting, in the job that you're in. Well, the answer is 282 million, which is like 7 to the power of 10. So, lots of choices. Why are they behaving like this? That's a cognitive switch. If someone's doing something that you don't approve of or is causing you stress, you can stop and think, what's causing them to behave like this? Because there's a reason their beliefs, their attitudes is causing that. So sometimes that can just be the switch to stop you going, I can't believe they did that. Well, they have. I can't believe they're doing that. It's not fair, I don't deserve that. All that unhealthy thinking, just stop and think, why are they doing this? Okay? There's a reason for why they're behaving like that. And remember, life's not stressful. It's just my view of it. That is. It's just the way you're framing it and looking at it. So that's cognitive switching. Really, in a nutshell, you've got to practice it. You've got to download it. There'll be times when we all forget. I forget to use my cognitive switching. I have to go back. My kids will ring up and go, Dad, I just want to tell you how many opportunities you've got today. Why, what have you done? I'm putting in the car. It's an opportunity for me to be grateful and talk to them rather than nut off to them about the car. You can always fix the car, but it's hard to fix a kid. I know I'm working in the emergency department. Okay, look, the second part really now of this triumvirate of tools we can talk about, cognitive switching, emotional algebra, and attitude profiling, this is where the rubber really hits the road. This is the twigging and emotional algebra. How do we know if that emotion, that anger, the frustration is real or false? How do we know if it's healthy or unhealthy? Anxiety, we need a bit of anxiety. So real alarms are there for a reason. False alarms go off 80% of the time. Our research shows when we are stressed or frustrated, we've got the wrong thought. Okay? So we do that by using emotional algebra and by twigging. Remember, triggers create thoughts, which create emotions, which then create actions, which then create consequences. Taking that away, using the algebra, we're looking for the unknown quantity. We feel the emotion. I'm angry. What's the trigger? Someone might have done something last night I didn't approve of. What am I thinking? Is the thought true? Maybe. Is it worth it? Well, it depends on what you do with that thought and that emotion. If you go off and have a sulk or do something that you might regret later, the thought's not worth it. If you can sit down and explain how you feel, maybe the thought's worth it. Does that thought help me achieve my goal? It depends on what your goal is, right? So in a relationship context, if you want to have a good relationship, it's important that you can talk about these issues and sort them out rather than having an unhealthy behaviour that you may regret later or in the workplace. It doesn't matter. You can use these tools at work, at home, on the way to work in the traffic. So remember, emotion minus trigger equals thought. Is it true? Is it worth it? Does that thought help me achieve my goal? If the answer is no to any one of those thoughts, that's an unhealthy thought, an unhealthy emotion. If the answer is yes to all of those, that's a healthy thought. So we go through the different process, the ABCD. So we call that twigging. So test whether the alarm is real or not by twigging. Is it true? Is it worth it? Does it help me achieve your goal? That's what twig stands for. If you get 3 yeses, then we go to this ABCD. We alert the trigger. We bypass them, we change them, we delete them. Okay? Someone may be late coming into work, or whatever part of your team are not performing. We feel the emotion, we're frustrated, what's the trigger? Someone not performing, what am I thinking? Am I maybe letting the team down? Is the thought true? I don't know at this stage, maybe. Maybe there's a reason they're being late, so we might have one no. Let's say it's yes, they are letting the team down. Is it worth it? Yeah, we want to have a high-performing team. And does it help me achieve my goal? Yes, I want to have a high-performing team. I get 3 yeses. So you can alert the trigger, you can bypass them, talk to someone else on the team. You can try and change them, run through a procedure, or maybe you need to delete them for a while. You can try this with your children at home. I always struggled with the delete thing, but it's just maybe time out. You can't delete your kids. But this process gives you a really good, rational, non-emotional way to deal with anything that life throws at you. Okay? Do your twig. If you get a no, change your thoughts. If you get 3 yeses, go through this alert the trigger process. Sometimes the trigger might be yourself. You might have gone out and had a big night on the church or something. You may be the trigger. Okay? You don't need to alert yourself. You need to bypass it. You need to change it or delete whatever the trigger may be that's causing it. It might be your smoking. It might be waking up coughing. I don't want to digress too much in my emergency department role. Just trying to keep you out of the hospital and keep you out of trouble. Okay, this may be a bit hard for you to see, and Julie can print this out for you, but what I'd like you to do is we can click here and hopefully you can see that. So what is your goal? So what is the unhealthy emotion that interfered with you reaching your goal on the volcano scale? What triggered it? What was the consequence? What is the primary thought driving the emotion? Does this thought match the emotion felt on the volcano scale? If not, you don't have the whole thought. Then we do the twigging. So I'll just run through an example. Then what I'd like you to do is go and do some examples together in a group and keep practicing this. You would have done this on the online diary for those of you that had access to the online course. So let's say, and I'll give you an example of a doctor. I did a session for one of the doctors recently. So it was, what is your goal to be a great GP? What is the unhealthy emotion that interfered with you reaching with the goal? She was angry. On that scale, on the anger scale, it was 10 out of 10. If we go to the next slide, which you should have in a workbook there, it was 10 out of 10. That's erupting, the anger. She was angry. So I go, well, what's the trigger? And she goes, what triggered was the patient, my patient turning up and not taking the medication as prescribed. So what was the consequence? And she said, well, I was a little bit short with the patient and probably didn't give him my full attention and was upset with him for not taking the medication I prescribed at the previous consultation. So I go, what is the primary thought driving the emotion? She went, they wrote it down in a form like this and said, they don't respect me as a doctor and they're not taking the medication, they're not compliant. What's the point of me being their GP? And I said, well, let's take that thought and match it to that number 10. I mean, does that thought match number 10 on that volcano scale? Because frequency and intensity of a trigger will amplify the intensity of the emotion on that scale. And clearly, most of us can see that if you thought, and I said to her, if you think that about all the patients that don't take your medication, because only one in three patients don't take what's prescribed through communication issues, or they may even get better without the medication, you may as well change your job if you're going to get frustrated by that. So there must be another part to the thought, and this is the real fine detail of healthy thinking. It's fascinating. I find it fascinating. It's around family of origin. It's around our belief system, what's called the ladder of inference, how we make up these software stories in our head, because we don't have all the information about a scenario. We make this stuff up, and our brain, we make software errors and create this whole story in our head that may not be real, right? So back to the GP, she goes, emotion minus trigger was thought, I'm thinking that they don't, trust me, they're not good at their compliance. It doesn't give it a 10. There must be another part to the thought. She goes, I know. They don't trust me as a doctor. They're not taking their medication. And she reminds me just like my mother, okay? So there was something triggering in this behavior that was triggering a whole lot of other stuff that's gone on. And often if we can get upset at work, it may be something's happened at home and it builds up. We get cut off on the traffic. We come to work. The amygdala's firing already. It's just ticking away. It's a bit stressed. We haven't slept. Might have got a mortgage repayment or something might have happened, and the amygdala is just primed, ready to go, and one little trigger will set it off. Okay, so when you go through this, and your group really go through this process, this is the key to it. You must go through I prefer it if you go through the process, because if you try and that's what we try and shortcut the circuit. Go through the process and go back to it. What is the primary thought driving this emotion? Does it match it? And also, what was the consequence of that emotion? What did it cause you to do? Was the thought true, or is it true? Is it worth it? Does it help you achieve your goal? The answer is no to any one of those. Come up with 6 alternate thoughts. Write them down. What else could you think about the trigger? Something that happened. There's so many other thoughts you can have that will automatically change the way you feel, change the way you think, and change how you act. You can have some fun with this, okay? As I say, if someone walks out of a meeting, you can, instead of thinking, oh no, they don't like what I'm saying, you could think, as I do as a doctor, excuse this example, but maybe they've got an incontinence problem or something. But there's so many thoughts you can have fun with. Just stick them into your database. When you Google your brain, don't go for the same ones that cause the same unhealthy thinking, patterns, and behavior. Have some fun with healthy thinking. If you get 3 yeses, then you move back to the ABCD. Okay, alert the trigger, bypass, change it, or if you need to, delete it. The more you can do this, the more you can practice. Okay, so go away, practice this. Hope you've got some time left, and spend, I think, 15, 20 minutes on this. Do it. Okay, come back, talk about it, and keep good at it. Keep good at it. Keep practicing. Keep practicing. Okay, I need to do it sometimes on a daily basis as well. I can forget. I just try to circumnavigate it or circumvent it, and then I need to do it. I prefer to do it. Make sure you stick to the process. There's that volcano again. Okay,